Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. This article that I will feature in this video shows us, besides the information provided by it, how the West sees other countries. And I'm talking about they see it not as an equal. They see it as a lesser country trying to impose their will on the other countries by blackmails or by threats, regime change, and control. And if you don't listen to what these guys are telling you to do, they will start the sanctions first. In this case, and you can see it very easily that these supporters of the international law, they don't apply the same rules when it's about them. They apply the rules and are very strict with everybody else and their demands, but not when they do something of the same kind. So let me show you this Russia Today article. It is from 12th of August 2023. Poland brands Belarus a quote-unquote hostile state. Now, that's almost as an enemy. Ready for war? That's the next step, I guess. And I wonder, why? All right, we'll see why. The call to mend ties between two nations, voiced by Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko, met a mixed reaction in Warsaw. Now, Lukashenko said, I think yesterday or the day before, that he would like to, improve relations with the neighbor, with Poland. Now, it doesn't mean that is their intention. That's what he said. Okay, so let me show you where that is on the map. So here is where the war occurs, or the NATO fights in Ukraine for these guys or with these guys, however we want to take it. And we have Belarus in the north, and we have Poland. This is Poland right here, bordering Ukraine, bordering Belarus. So here's the problem. Now Belarus got some Wagner troops on their territory. Wagner group, as these guys could have whatever mercenaries on their territory. That's not Belarus's business. And they said that they will use the mercenaries, the private military company, to train them, to teach them stuff like the Western NATO countries teach the Ukrainians stuff. Remember, train them. So they stopped here by Brest, they went over here, and these guys got all scared and put all kind of about 4,000, they say would bring 10,000 people at the border, military, because they're afraid of these guys are going to invade or something. Anyway, I think that's a manufactured concern. That's my assessment on that. And then these guys said, well, you guys are now what, a hostile country. Belarus, and they also claim that the Belarusians are trying to flood poor Poland with immigrants trying to cross. And I explained this many times. The immigrants leave their countries, or refugees, however you want to call them. You're not a refugee, because refugee, you're in the next country. That's, let's say, United States, you could be a refugee only to Canada, let's say, and so only Mexico and Canada would be countries where the United States could claim refugee status, that you have borders with. I mean, you're going to consider, let's say, Cuba as being your neighbor, and therefore you can, otherwise, by extension, you're going to consider all the countries across the Pacific in East Asia being capable of sending refugees, because there's nothing in between. So I don't think so. So here they also claim the Poles, who are in the European Union, and they are very, very much shaping the new European values, which is inclusion and diversity, which is their strength. Certain kind of diversity, okay, because they are diverse in a certain way. Now, they say that these guys are facilitating the crossing of the border in Belarus of these illegal immigrants, and supposedly they like them, but they don't like them. That's very strange, So then the Poles built some fences and brought all kind of people to protect their country, which I'm a-okay for that. I don't think they need my approval anyway, but you do whatever you want on your country. But if someone else does whatever they want in the country, these guys are with their nose sticking in there. So Poland now called Belarus a hostile country because what? Wagner and the immigrants? Yeah. And what? They can't call it a hostile country because Belarus is helping Russia against NATO. And they are part of NATO because they are helping Ukraine against fighting the Russians indirectly, with all the support they get in Ukraine against the Russians. So if you look at who cast the first stone, is who stuck the first nose in whose business. And if you say, hey, Russians did it, well, I urge you to go back to 2014, for instance, and you're going to find out. So I'm talking about that overthrow of a government, okay? Belarus must fulfill a list of Poland's demands to mend relations with the country. Polish Deputy Foreign Minister Paweł Jablowski said on Saturday. The remarks came in response to a call for improving ties between the two nations voiced by Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko. First, Belarus has to make sure that the Poles recognize this guy. Because here they call this guy, the self-appointed, he's not the legitimate. That's how they call him. But they recognize, a group of guys overthrowing a legitimate democratic government in 2014, if you remember. They were A-OK with those guys. Now, Jablonski expressed skepticism over Lukashenko's statement, suggesting the call made by the Belarusian leader was actually nothing but empty talk. Well, could be. Action speaks louder than words. So he's right here. And I'm quoting, at the moment, as we are speaking, attacks on the Polish border are underway. What the hell are you talking about? Well, by extrapolating or extending his understanding of attacks, he's going to call attacks, and he's going to tell us what he really means here. This is empty words. Once again, we hear such statements, but there is no substance behind them. End quote. Jablonski told local media. Well, this is a process, and you should know that. So if this guy said, let's improve relations, it's about let's do it from now on. So I'm waiting for your answer. I'm extending a hand. Let's hope it's a clean hand. And you extend your hand or not. This is what Lukashenko is talking about. He's not talking about, well, we are good, we are perfect, we are good, you're bad. No, let's improve relationship. Should we start a process? And this guy says nothing but empty talk. So far, yes, but they're waiting for your participation. It takes two to tango, right? Anyway, there's no substance behind them. Well, if you say, yeah, let's try, then it's going to be substance. And then you can make this statement. Yes, but there's no substance because it's only empty talk. Until then, wait. Say, yes, let's be cautious and let's work together if you want to work together. If you don't, you're going to say, no, you're a bad dude and I'm not going to talk to you, like Zelensky with the Russians. That means you don't want to even talk, negotiate, talk about things until these guys fulfill your demands. The deputy ministry claimed Poland neither sought to have bad relations with Belarus, nor was the one behind their current state. If Belarus was actually, and I'm quoting, serious about mending ties, the way to fix them was actually very simple. Let's see. The diplomat went on, rolling out a list of demands for Minsk to fulfill. Okay, but on the same, this is your side of the story. You say, well, we didn't do anything wrong, we're perfect, like our masters, United States of America. Therefore, if the relationship is bad, it's because of you, must be because of you. Because by default, we are good, you are bad. With this kind of dogma, you know where that leads. So he said, because we are good, only we can give you a list of demands, according to Russia Today. Remember, it's Russia Today. I don't think they said demands, okay? They said suggestions or something. So gave it to these guys or mentioned them. Now, these guys, because they know they're not the only people responsible or country responsible, will write their demands and send it to Warsaw. That's how it works. And this guy says, okay, let's talk about it. Certain things we can find, okay, overlap and solve. Certain things are ping. Let's talk. Let's meet and talk. That's how you do it if you want. But remember Poland with the Gdansk corridor with the Germans, how they talked with the Germans. Okay, and I'm not blaming the Poles, but when you have guys ready to protect you, whatever you say to the other one, why would you want to negotiate something that you don't want to negotiate? You don't want to discuss the Danzig or Gdansk corridor whatsoever. You don't want to, and you can. Even though you know you're going to be smacked by Germany, you will not, because you get the guarantees, security guarantees, by two countries, Great Britain and France. So I think that really was a negotiation in bad faith. I think that's the same thing here. No, you do those things first because you're the only one that's guilty here. All right, we're going to find out. I would like to know what exactly they mean by being under attack. What are they doing? The Wagner Group on their territory? None of your business, is it? Now, if that is some of your business, then Russia had all the rights to bring its troops before February 2022 to the border of Ukraine and say, well, you guys are fighting and killing our people over there, so then it's our business to bring our troops over there. What did this guy say? Well, you brought over there, it's your fault. No, bring it back, bring it back, bring it back. Well, but it's a war over there. What am I supposed to do? So, anyway, let's see what, again, the thing with attacked us, it's, okay, and you're just Niznai, Niznai, perfect, I don't know anything, I'm good, you're just you. It's you, honey, okay, not me. And I'm quoting again, stop attacking our border. What? Okay, I mean, if you want to talk about, euphemisms and all that, you can use this. Release Andrei Progsobut. Who is this guy? Is that little... I know two incidents, but I don't know which one it is. The one that they downed the airplane, but that was not Polish. That was a... I'm going to find him right now. But I think it was... Remember the Belarusians made a commercial airplane land in Minsk, I think, and they arrested someone who was in the airplane. Someone that they wanted. That's one incident. And the other one, again. But I don't remember that guy being Polish. And if that guy, I'm going to look, is not Polish, then shut up, Poland. Okay, it's none of your business what's going on over there. Because I'm pretty sure you do a lot of stuff. If I speak with your bosses, not the bosses, supposedly on the paper, your bosses from Brussels. That's why they don't really give you some funds, European funds, because you do some hanky-panky with your judicial, was it judicial justice system, was there with the judges thing. So again, if you talk about these kind of things, you got a lot of shit on your face as well. But again, these guys think they're the best, those guys are the worst. So let's look for this guy and see who this guy actually is. Shall we? I don't know, let's see. All right, and we find this person, and he is of dual citizenship, Belarusian and Polish. It's a writer. Okay, Andrei Pozobut, this one is Pozobut. Okay, that's the guy. It says born in 73, 16th of April, is a Belarusian and Polish journalist and activist of the Polish minority in Belarus. He lives in Hrodnia, Belarus. A correspondent for the Polish newspaper Bababab has been arrested more than a dozen times by the government of Belarus. Okay, now what's going on here? He has been arrested again in 2021 and remains in prison as 2022. He has been described as a political prisoner. Okay, so this is the guy they want him as like Navalny. Okay, I understand that. I've seen a lot of these guys, and I'm not saying this is because I'm not familiar with the guy, so I can't talk a lot, or actually almost at all. What I'm talking about through my experience. When you have sometimes, and I know this from Romania, when Romania has the communist system, it was a communist system, and there were some names that the West liked in Romania that were harassed by the Romanian government. Not arrested, harassed. Some of them were arrested, some of them were fired. And Western mass media through New Voice of America, the Voice of America, and from Europe, Free Europe, which were financed by the Americans' State Department and CIA, but we didn't find out that then. We thought they are angels, some of us thought, some of them thought. I thought that for a little while, but after I opened a few pieces of information, I realized, yeah, okay. Doesn't mean that they were bad. No, they had their own interests, is what I'm talking about. So these guys were talking about certain individuals like Anna Blandiana. They were talking about that guy, Saul, what's his name? He was involved in the revolution with B. I can't remember his name. His name, for real name, is Saul something, Soviet, whatever, Soviet guy. Then you had that crazy poet that is still alive right now. What's his name? It's been a long time. I have his not Nikita Stănescu. That's the guy. Poor guy dies in 82 or whatever. He dies 86 or not even. So there are a lot of these guys in Romania that were on the payroll of the West, or at least we found out that they had some activity. And Ana Blandiana and others were with their connections funded and helped to a certain extent by certain interests, not Romanian interests. They played their roles and they were crying about Ceausescu to leave them alone. These guys got their files and knew this guy is this guy is this, this guy is this. So when I hear about Navalny, or I hear about this guy, and this guy is so concerned about it, I don't know if they are, but for me it rings that kind of bell. You see? Let me find these guys. What the hell are their names? I'm going to use them just a second. And it took me some time to remember those names, but I got, besides the poet Ana Blandiana, for instance, I got this guy, this I talk about, this poet, Mircea Dinescu. Romanians know about him. And he was, again, he showed up at television, and supposedly he was on other people's support payroll, whatever he was. And yes, this is the one I was talking about, Silviu Brucan. His real name is Saul Bruckner, okay? A Romanian communist, blah, 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 blah. Early life, just read. He was born in Bucharest to wealthy Jewish parents, living in okay? So these guys, whenever they did something and Ceausescu was harassing them, we didn't know at that time. We were told by the Western media, as I told you, that these guys were actually fighting the communism. Okay, they were fighting the communism, but they didn't tell us that fighting the communists and for whom. We thought that they were fighting for us. So that's that. I don't know, that Polish, Belarusian Polish guy, journalist is that one. That is the same thing, but I have a little, some red lines and red flags when I hear this kind of situations here. So let's go back to the article. So this one, okay, and 1,000 political prisoners from jail, and 1,000 political prisoners from. So that's what Polish tells them. That's why they are hostile country. Do you think so? Then almost everybody's a hostile country. But why am I saying that? Do you think that the Americans don't have any prisoners that the Russians would consider political? Or and vice versa? Yes. So they're hostile? Yeah, but they call one another partners from time to time. So referring to a Polish Belarusian journalist and activist who was jailed early this year for 8 years on extremism charges. Apart from that, Minsk should stop carrying out its illegal ongoing quote-unquote campaign of hatred, attacks and hybrid war against Poland. This is words. Anyone can say that, but you have to hatred. Well, that's very relative. I can call, if you look at me, say that you are looking with a hateful, you have a hateful look in your eyes, or I can interpret however I want things. Hybrid war, there's no such a thing against Poland, or moreover, I think it's Poland's hybrid war against the Russians in Ukraine, but that's nothing that has to do with Belarus. But the attitude here is we are good, you are bad. So Lukashenko expressed readiness to mend ties with EU and Warsaw in particular on Friday, describing Poles as our people, the Slavs, and not some quote-unquote stupid people. The president said that he understood that Poland has been merely acting on US's behalf and quote-unquote aggravating the situation between the two countries. So the ongoing conflict between Russia, the main ally of Belarus, okay, we got that one. And again, here it says, Prime Minister of Poland claimed they were undoubtedly a step towards an upcoming hybrid attack on Polish territory. They were talking about the Wagner Group, private military company. Well, I can assume a lot of things. I can, think that this will happen and this will not happen. Is this real or that's not real? The point is, I don't think the Poles really want to mend ties. But maybe, will they accept if the Belarusians will send their demands? I'm pretty sure they will dismiss them as, no, we're perfect. We're perfect. Well, how can you negotiate with someone like this? And you can tell me, well, we're perfect. We're perfect. We're not. You're not. First, you are part of a war. However you want to turn it, you provide weapons, support, training, any kind to another country at war with another country. You have nothing with that country, with either country. Poland has no treaties of alliance with Ukraine, does it? No. So the fact that Poland sent one bullet to one country that fights another country, you are involved because you are not neutral. Neutral would be don't even look at it or talk about it. But I give you a bullet, I give you a bullet. That would be, but no, they are helping these guys. What does it mean? From the other side's perspective, you are actively involved in killing me, and I have nothing to do with you. When you perceive me as an aggressor against you, in the future, I can do the same thing to you. History is witness to that. And we can't just act on, I think you will do this. Well, all right, why don't we sit down and discuss? But if you come with an attitude like you are a hostile country because I say so, I'm good, and you are bad, give you a list. And regarding that guy over there, I don't think that he is just as I said, from previous knowledge of this kind of things that happen almost everywhere. Do you think that Navalny, the guy in Russia, the guy that got 19 years now in prison for certain bullshit he did over there, do you think that he's clean? Who's clean? Who is clean? He's supported, obviously. Now, do I know what exactly happened over there? They have a justice system. They apply that. You can call it skewed. They can call it whatever. Look what these guys are trying to do to Assange or to Edward Snowden. And not only. Look what they want to try to do to Trump. And tell me about Navalny being the saint on the cross. Please. And if he would not have violated, then we know he violated his parole, Navalny. Went to Germany without telling his guys, I'm going. Why? He thinks he's above the law. When you think you're above the law and you think you're not guilty of anything, then you get in prison, and then again in prison, and again in prison. Longer because you instigate certain things. According to the Russians, he lives over there. What do you want him to do? I can't just go to Germany and act like an idiot and then the Germans just let me go because I'm an American or something. No, they will arrest me, they will interview me or interrogate me, they will use their justice system and they will put me in prison. That's what's going to be if I'm guilty. So same here, what do you want? Now, I don't know, and you don't know either. What do you know is what these guys are telling you or telling us. And the same here. What I know is reading these guys, what they say, but I have at least examples, multiple examples from the past that show me that whenever something like this happens, usually when the United States intervene in behalf of someone somewhere, that means that was their boy or is their boy. I mean, I know, anyway, this is ABC 1, 2, 3, but what can I say? The fact here is that things will escalate. Poland will not mend ties with Belarus unless Belarus is going to be, its servant. That's the whole point. They will not act like equal. Just by that. And can you blame them? No, you can't. You can't blame Poland for wanting that. The problem is you appear as being a hypocrite. I demand you do this because I'm pure. I mean, what? And then I want you to do that, but I am perfect. Look at Brussels, what they ask you to do. Anyway, I'm going too long with this already. And things will not get better between these guys. Unless Belarus is capitated, then they will be their friends then. That's always happened like this. When you do what I tell you to do, then we're friends. When you are independent and do whatever you want to do, you're my enemy. But you have to consider me the greatest country or individual entity. I don't have something with the Poles, but analyzing it is like people don't know. And they think that we don't know. Well, we know a few things here and there. Just by analyzing by ABC 1, 2, 3, you realize this is BS. Thank you. Not BS. I don't think they want to talk with the Belarusian. That's the whole thing. They don't want to. They don't want to mend ties or anything. And that this could be a setup by Lukashenko. He just wants to, say, see, I am sending the little peace dove towards you. What are you gonna do? Okay, or cage it. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.